So it's been a little bit since I've been able to sit down and actually talk about hockey between the Vancouver trip, getting home, getting sick for nearly a week. I think the last time I had a video talking about anything that was going around or going on in the league was when Steve Yzerman went to Detroit. So yeah, it's been a little bit. This video is going to be very disjointed, very rant heavy. It's basically going to be me trying to remember everything that's happened over the past 2 weeks and just talking about all of it. Damn it. So let's get down to business. I do want to talk about the playoffs now. I didn't even get to do a round one recap. And really, I suppose at this point, there's not a whole hell of a lot that can be said. Like with Nashville, Dallas was just the better team. St. Louis and Winnipeg. It's shocking to see both Winnipeg and Nashville out of the playoffs, but the better team won in each of those series. Now we have Dallas and St. Louis going to a Game 7, the same day this video will be going up. As far as a prediction, I don't know, man. I don't know. I kind of have a soft spot for Jordan Binnington because he was with the Providence Bruins, and that story is kind of ridiculous. But, man, I just noticed how bad the neck beard is. I really need to shave. Shit. Anyway, if I had to bet, I'd probably go with Dallas if I had to bet on it. But who's to say? And as if there hasn't been enough controversy, I'm sure Game 7 will be interesting. Something will happen with Ben Bishop, one way or another. Been a ridiculous series thus far. Whether or not that goal should have counted in Game 6, by the way, who the hell knows, right? I mean, it sets a precedent where if a goalie's down, people will start, saying, oh, he's diving, and it'll open up goalies to perhaps dive a little bit more. It's a fine line to walk, but I can't wait for Game 7 in that series. By the way, for Winnipeg, you knew they were going to have off-season trouble coming up, and that's going to be a theme, talking about some teams with off-season trouble. I talked about it on stream tonight. I was asked, what team's going to hit the panic button in the off-season? I think it's going to be Nashville, because unlike with, say, Winnipeg or Tampa, where they knew, and Columbus for that matter, which we'll get to, it's beautiful, but those teams knew that they were going to have changes and cap issues coming up in the off-season. Nashville, they're still set up pretty damn well, as far as I'm aware. They're going to do something, though, because a first-round exit for them is devastating. Even talking about Calgary and Colorado at this point, Colorado was just a better team. San Jose and Vegas, which I've said it a couple of times already. I haven't even really talked about the Vancouver trip that much because, again, there's nothing I can really say aside from just, the experience was tremendous and being able to hang out with other game changers was awesome. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people misunderstand what game changers do. I can't go and be like, fix franchise, and they say, yes, sir, we're on it. That's not how it works. But, they use game changers to cultivate opinions of the hardcore fan base, that side of the fan base, while also saying, okay, well, this is how the hardcores feel, this is how the casuals feel, and this is our direction. Blend it all together. That's what we're there to do. But to my original point, getting to watch Game 7 between San Jose and Vegas with no Sleeves, who if you don't follow on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, you should, because Sleeves is the fucking man. Some of you might have seen it. Again, I didn't vlog the experience or anything, but I put stuff up on Twitter throughout. And just a bunch of us hanging out in a hotel room watching Sleeves panic over that game. The highlight for me of that entire trip is tremendous. And hell, after tonight, I'm recording this after Colorado won Game 6, so 2 Game 7s in the West. As far as who's going to win this one, I'm kind of rooting for San Jose because of Joe Thornton. I do consider if I were to have any second team, it would be Colorado, thanks to that moment right there. I did fancy the Avalanche, we'll say, before 2001 because of Adam Deadmarsh, who was great. And if you don't know Adam Deadmarsh, underrated NHL player. But I don't know, man. San Jose making it a little bit further would be pretty damn nice, I have to admit. And then in the East, again, I didn't get to talk about the first round, but Columbus sweeping Tampa, Jesus Christ. Boston beat Toronto. I was in Canada for that. I'm sitting at one table with a bunch of game changers. The table next to us, a bunch of guys in suits that were Leafs fans. Feel free to ask any of the game changers my reaction when the Bruins, I believe they made it 3-1. Ooh. Those guys weren't happy with me, I think. I was a little bit loud. Shocker, I know. But the Bruins ended up beating the Leafs. I didn't get to talk about this series. I was going to record a video on my phone, but I decided not to. I can't say I'm surprised, but it was a very close series. very close. And obviously, Tampa's offseason is going to be interesting. The Leafs offseason is going to be very interesting, especially now that Mike Babcock stays. But yeah, obviously pretty happy with the result. Carolina beat Washington in 7, which is outrageous. And obviously we'll be talking about Carolina in a second. The Islanders sweep Pittsburgh. We go to round 2. Carolina sweeps the Islanders and make it to the conference final. Because damn it, when Carolina makes the playoffs, it's conference final or bust at the very least. And they will be playing the Bruins in the Eastern Conference Final. The Bruins beat the Blue Jackets in 6. They were down 2-1 and won 3 straight games. Don't you forget it. Now, there's 2 big talking points coming out of Game 6 that have to do with Game 6. First and foremost, the Charlie McAvoy hit. Should have been a game misconduct. It should have been. I can't deny that. Is he going to be suspended? Maybe a game. I don't know if you can now with the rule the way it is. Apparently, it's a 2-minute minor or a misconduct. There's no 5-minute major, apparently, with the way the rules were written, which is fucking outlandish to me. That doesn't make any sense. I feel like the right call there. Game misconduct. That's it. You don't suspend him. He doesn't have a prior history. You move on with it. We'll see what happens and whether or not he gets suspended. Although I will mention John Tortorella. Oh, there'll be a Game 7. Oh, will there, John? Oh, will there? Anyway, the other major talking point. I mean, Jesus, there's so many talking points from Boston and Columbus. My God. The Brad Marchand post-game interview where everyone in Canada is fucking outraged because I can't remember his name, but he interviewed Brad Marchand, I think during the Leafs series, and the reporter kind of gave Marchand a jab that you could tell Marchand didn't appreciate. So now you have the same guy from Sportsnet interview Marchand, and Marchand essentially lynched him. You know, just one-word answers, stuff like that. And people are losing their mind. Brad Marchand, how disrespectful. No, come on. Was Brad Marchand supposed to give Sportsnet a good interview? You know some of the things Sportsnet said about Brad Marchand? That would be like me expecting, what would even be the comparison at this point? You know, I've hated on MLB The Show 19 a lot. I don't think it's a very good game. That'd be like me being like, oh, hey, I'm gonna sit here and interview the guys from San Diego Studios. Hey, how do you feel? And they just, one-word answer me. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm shocked. You're so disrespectful. I can't believe you've done that to me. No, I mean, come on. That is what it is. But Bruins, Blue Jackets, hell of a series. I mean, fair fucking play. Full credit to the Blue Jackets fans, especially, the atmosphere that they created. Obviously, tensions are a little bit high right now because what the hell's going to happen with Bob, Duchesne, Panarin? If I had to guess, Bobrovsky's gone, Panarin's probably gone, Duchesne might stay. Now, Duchesne apparently turned down an 8x8 contract with the Senators earlier this year, so who knows? But obviously, the Blue Jackets are going to be a very interesting team to watch. They're still going to be a good team next year, there's no doubt about that, but they have some things to take care of. I think Werenski is also an RFA, but I can't say I'm too upset for you because the Bruins are going to the conference final, which I think a lot of people slept on the Bruins all goddamn season. They were in 3rd place. They finished 3rd in the NHL in points. Tied with Calgary, if I'm not mistaken. But because they have no names like Wagner, Achari, Corrali, Nordstrom in the bottom 6, who the hell's Connor Clifton? David Krejci, he's washed up, isn't he? No, he's not. David Krejci is having quietly one of the best seasons in the fucking league this season. He has been tremendous in the playoffs. The Bruins are the real goddamn deal. Whether or not they make it past Carolina, I don't know. I certainly hope so. I can't, in good faith, sit here and say that between Mrazek and McElhinney that the wheels are going to finally fall off, but you would think they would because at the end of the day, it's Peter Mrazek and Curtis McElhinney leading the charge for Carolina. I don't know if I'd bet on that, especially when you look at the Bruins, but say, I don't know, Tuukka Rask, who's actually good. And if you're on the Tuukka Rask who's in good bandwagon, get out. There's the door. Incorrect. That's actually the window. There's the door on the other side of the camera. Goodbye. Get out. Tuukka Rask is one of the best goalies in the league, one of the most consistent. He might not put up elite 920-plus save percentages every year. Tuukka Rask, 2013 or not, which wasn't his fault, by the way, is an amazing goaltender, and you have no idea how badly I want Tuukka to win a cup. Because Boston sports media can be just as unbearable as, say, Leafs media can be in Canada. I want this so badly for Tuukka. So badly. and let's hope that it happens. I'm trying to think if there were any other major talking points in this series, aside from, I guess, the officiating in general, which you had, the review in Game 5 of whether or not the puck crossed the line against Rask, which, again, has been called a goal and no goal before without a definitive camera angle. Game 6, Sean Corrali's called off goal, or due to interference, where it was Nordstrom that hit him. Is it goalie interference? Probably. But there have been goals in this very postseason that have been just as bad that were allowed. Obviously, you look at like the Joe Pavelski thing in Game 7 with San Jose and Vegas. I mean, it's been a playoffs, worth of upsets, but my God, the officiating and just the god-awful way the rules are set up. I mean, last year too, right, with like Rask in Tampa losing his skate blade and everything. I couldn't believe that was a rule. Like, really? You don't, if the goalie loses a blade, you don't stop play. We're just going to have a knife lying on the ice, and we're cool with it. It's just, there's a reason why so many fans feel like, oh, it's my team being screwed. And again, I'll never say it like, I think the Bruins are exclusively screwed. Absolutely not. The officiating in general is fucking horrific for everybody. Every fan base has that same opinion, though, that we're getting screwed and the other team's getting favoritism. And it's because of the consistency of the officiating, which is no different than just spinning the wheel and being like, okay, this is it this time. How was Charlie McAvoy's only 2 minutes? I'm not going to defend that and say like, oh yeah, no, it should have been 2 minutes. Fuck no, that was a terrible hit. It's a terrible hit. But aside from that, I think I've managed to kind of cover everything. The majority, kind of mix of round 1, round 2. As we're getting ready for round 3, the Eastern Conference Final is set. The Western Conference Final will be set later on. Again, Dallas and St. Louis tonight. It's going to be ridiculous. I'm trying to see if I managed to forget anything else. Philly, with the moves that they made. I don't think I ever really talked about Vigneault being hired, on YouTube at least. Obviously, most of my hockey talk has been mostly on Twitch and Twitter. But I don't hate the Vigneault signing. I don't hate him, or the Philly in general, bringing in Therrien and Mike Yeo as assistant coaches. Are either of those two amazing head coaches? Terrien's not too bad. Yeo was obviously a pretty big flop in Minnesota and St. Louis. But I don't hate those signings at the end of the day. You need some new blood in Philly. Edmonton brings in Ken Holland from Detroit. Best of luck to you, Ken. At this point, Ken Holland might not have the best track record as a GM, but then you factor in who he's going to work for, he's screwed. He's not going to be the guy in Edmonton. There's no way. It's Daryl Cates. It's just, okay, Ken Holland is the new heat shield in Detroit. Why Ken Holland would elect to do that to himself, I have no idea why. Hell, Seattle apparently was interested for the longest time. Go to Seattle. I don't understand it. Aside from that, I think I've covered pretty much all the news and talking points. It's a little bit tough because, again, there's been so much that's happened. But at the end of the day, the important thing to remember is that the Boston Bruins are in the Eastern Conference Final and are halfway to a Stanley Cup. Is it going to happen? I don't know. But I hope it does. Let me know if I missed talking about anything, of course, as we get back into the groove of uploading regularly after a 2-week disruption. Again, videos have been going up on the channel and all that stuff. What else do we got going on? Potential things changing around the channel. Maybe getting a little bit more professional with some things. We got that going on. I've been doing the broadcasting for NHLGamer.com. Sinski and I. Sin for the Win. If you don't know that channel, look it up. Sin for the Win Productions. NHL 19 content. Watch him. He's a good dude. Aside from that, I think that's it, right? Yeah. I'm going to stop ranting because I got other videos to record. Thank you for watching. Let me know if I missed anything, and I'll get back to you in the comments. Goodbye.